Hey guys, it's me, Donna, the Good Witch of the South, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about ghosts again, but I wanted to talk about seeing ghosts, okay? Because there's two different ways that you can see them. I've read a lot of books, and most mediums agree that you can see them usually in two different ways, either with your actual eyes or in your mind. Okay, now when you see them with your actual eyes, you can see them in different forms. So I thought I would tell you some ghost stories about the way I've seen them and the forms that I've seen them in. And then if you maybe recognize one of the forms, if you were wondering if you saw a ghost, you could be like, oh, so that happened to her too, okay? And, you know, I just love to tell ghost stories. It's just fun. I like to talk about them, and I love people to tell me about them. So anyways, I'll start off with the first one. The first one will be about seeing it as an apparition, which most people know, and in case you don't, that means it looks like an actual person. It looks like you and I, just a person, okay? So I'm in my kitchen, and I'm just doing whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, my living room's across the way, about 15 feet away, and all of a sudden I see a person walk by, and I thought it was my son Donnie, because it looked like a kid, about 18 to 20, he had a baseball cap, I think a red shirt and blue jeans. So I'm like, Donnie? And then he doesn't answer, so I'm looking and it's gone, so I'm like, so now I go over to the bottom of the stairs, and I'm like, Donnie, he's not answering me. So then I go and look out at the driveway to see if his car's there, and it's not. So I'm like, oh, that's right, he has work. So I'm like, I'm home alone. So I'm like, yeah, because my daughter's at school and he's at work, so okay, so that, you know, was a spirit, because I knew it was so clear. So then about 2 weeks later, my mom comes to visit me, and she would always stay with me when she'd visit, and she could see spirits, and I hadn't told her about this because I just kind of forgot. So she says to me, do you know that you have a spirit in this house? And I said, what did you see? So then she explained that it looked like Donnie, had a baseball cap, was in the living room walking by. So I was like, whoa, cool. So then we were like, oh, all right, so there's a spirit in here. You know, and who knows why he's here. You know, you never really know why spirits hang around. Sometimes they just feel comfortable with either the house or the area, and they just find it familiar and want to stay. Or sometimes they don't realize that they've passed and they just kind of hanging around, you know. So anyways, that's that story. Then the second time that the second way that I saw one, the form that I saw it in, was I was in my kitchen. I had a lot of encounters in my kitchen. I'm in my kitchen and I'm making coffee, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this swirling, kind of like a tornado, but very white, like as white as paper. And it's swirling, and it's about the size of a person. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And then as I look, poof, it's gone. But then I walk over to where it was, and I noticed that you could smell this perfumey smell, or flowers. Kind of smelled like what older women smell. Where? And so I realized that when I do meditations, I smell that same exact smell. And now I have realized over the years that that is my Meme, my great grandmother, who is now my spirit guide. So I'm like, oh, Meme was here, cool. I couldn't see her, but every time I walked over there, you could smell that smell. I'd walk away, it'd be gone, go back, it's there. So I knew she was kind of hanging around. I just couldn't see the swirl anymore. Okay, so now that was that one. So then I was up, the other one was I was up in my bedroom, laying in bed. I had just woken up, and I'm just kind of like, ugh, I gotta get up, don't really want to. And I'm just kind of staring off into space, and all of a sudden, as I'm staring off into space, I see the ear starts to turn into a face. And I'm like, what? And the only way I can explain this is if you ever saw the movie The Predator. And he's an alien, and he can make himself kind of invisible, and he kind of gets like real clear looking, or like see-through-y, and you can see the outline of him in the air. That's what this looked like. Or the movie The Abyss, when the water comes in, it's real clear, and then all of a sudden the water forms and turns into a face. That's what happened with the ear. All of a sudden I'm looking at it, and the ear turns into a face, And then I recognized the face. I'm like, oh my God, that's my grandfather. And then poof, he was gone. So it was pretty cool. So those are the 3 forms that I've seen them in. There's lots of other ways probably, I'm sure, that other people see them. So if you could tell me your stories, or if you have different ways that you've seen them, that'd be great. Or if you recognize the forms that I've seen, let me know, because I would love to hear it. But those are my ghost stories about seeing them, okay? If you could please like my video, and if you could please subscribe to my YouTube page, I would greatly appreciate that. And until next time, bye now.